What's up, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be going over the Brian Viloria 360 jump rope move. I'm excited to get into this one with you, so without further ado, let's get started. You're probably thinking, how does Brian Viloria do that and make it look so easy with the jump rope? Well, we're going to answer that question, but before we get started, we'll talk a little bit about who Brian Viloria is. He was, and now he's retired, a flyweight and light flyweight boxer. So that's in between 108 and 112 pounds is where he fought during his career. He had a 46-6 record with, I believe, 23 knockouts. And you can see just how quick and how fast he is. It's amazing. And I think that that translates to his ability to jump rope, and that jump rope helped him tremendously in his boxing career. You can see how the quickness and the way that he executes the 360 directly translates and transfers over to his ability to box and to move around the ring and make his opponents look foolish. Before we get into the move, we'll talk about what this move is. What I'm doing right here might look like the Brian Viloria 360, but once you slow it down, you realize that it's not. I'm not doing the exact move here, and I'll show you the differences between what Brian is doing and what I was doing in that clip. See, this is what Brian does, and he does it very quickly. And the main difference when we slow this down is that I'm taking an extra second to do a swing transition while Brian is going back through and he is just jumping over the rope. He's not doing this swing transition. He turns immediately into the 360. I've seen some other people on YouTube that have a tutorial out. They have a tutorial out where they're doing what I'm doing, or a version of what I'm doing. I think it's a good move to learn what I'm doing in this video, but if you want to learn the Brian Viloria 360, this is not what the move is. You gotta eliminate that extra swing and you have to do a full 360 and go all the way around. There are two moves that I recommend doing before trying to execute the 360 on your own. And the first base move is a turn, a 180 turn, where you're going and you're jumping backward. You're going from frontward to backward, but you're not doing a transition swing. And then you can use a side swing to go back to the front. You're not doing this. You see that transition swing there? You do not want to do that, because that's going to result in you doing the 360 incorrectly. You can see me doing this at another angle. I'm turning and I'm not doing a transition swing. I'm turning from frontward jumping to backward jumping, and I'm not doing a transition swing. You want to eliminate what I'm doing right here. Eliminate the transition swing. The second base move will be to do exactly what I'm doing in the video right now, but without the rope. A lot of us, when we're kids, we can jump and do 360s and all sorts of fun things, but trying it as an adult is actually a little daunting because you've lost some of that mobility. At least I'd lost some of the mobility that you have as a kid that you take for granted. So put the rope down and see if you can simply jump and do a 360 on your own without a rope. Just jump up in the air, turn your body just like you would with a 360. Do a 360, make sure you can actually do the movement first, because adding a rope into the mix is only going to increase the complexity of the movement. So my recommendation is to get that first base move down, but then to make sure that you have the mobility to do a 360 without the rope. Once you can do those moves, I feel like you're ready to try and get the Brian Viloria 360. When we break Brian's movements down, we'll see that with his 360, he starts the move with a side swing in order to get his bearings. He then does part of the 360 before he starts jumping. So that's after he does the side swing. After that, as he turns, he moves the rope in a backward motion. He doesn't do that transition swing that I was doing earlier in the video. Then after that, he extends his arm backward to get the rope under him. So he's actually clearing the rope and jumping backward. What he also does is his knees are bent. He's getting a good bit of height to jump over the rope. So his knees are bent. He lands on his dominant foot just before his non-dominant foot. What he does after that is he finds himself in a side swing position because the rope has followed his body naturally. And then he ends by jumping through the side swing, and he finishes with a heel toe landing, which if you want to do it like him, I think it's optional. But if you want to do it like him, that's the way that he does it. The type of rope that you use for this trick is important. What I think Brian is using here, and I can't tell with the video, but what I think he's using here is he's using a 4 or 5 millimeter PVC cord. And I can tell that because it would be difficult to do that move with a cable cord because a cable cord is not as flexible. So I think he's using either a 5 millimeter or 4 millimeter PVC rope, and it looks like he's using a short handled rope. What I'm using in this video to do the Brian Viloria 360 is the Elite SRS Pro Freestyle, these days known as the Elite SRS Fit Plus. It's a long handle 4 millimeter rope. It's my rope of choice when I'm doing complicated freestyle tricks like the Brian Viloria 360. So the key takeaway here is to use a PVC rope because it's more flexible. I think that you'll be able to execute the move with a 5 millimeter short handle or 4 millimeter long handle, either one, whatever suits your preference. Let's break this move down in super slow motion. So we have me here doing the move. I start with a side swing. We're breaking it down into first principles. I do part of the side swing I do part of the 360 with the side swing, like you see here. Then as I turn, I extend my arms to bring the rope under me as I'm turning into the 360. To clear the rope, I'm bending my knees just like Brian was doing. As the rope's coming around me, the rope is flowing naturally around me so that I find myself in a side swing position as I've landed the 360. Now, after that, you want to catch the rope, control the rope, and then jump through the side swing, and then you're good to go. It's a lot more complicated than that, but breaking it down into first principles helps you see all the intricacies of the move. So I hope that was helpful there. Now we're going to look at it again in real time. You can see that I'm executing all the first principle parts of the move. I've broken the move down into components that by themselves are a lot more simple than the move as a whole, especially if you see it in real time. The way that you can verify that you've gotten the move right is to listen to the sound of the rope. What you can also do is take a video of yourself. This is probably the most helpful way to do it. The sound part is good, comparing the sound, but taking a video of yourself and comparing it to Brian is a good idea. I remember when I was filming this clip right here, I thought that I had gotten it, but then I went back on my computer and I looked at Brian's clip right here and I realized that I was getting closer, but I did not have the move correctly. So comparing yourself to the way that Brian does it is probably the best way to understand if you have gotten the move, at least the correct methodology down. So as I improved, I took this video and I stopped doing the transition swing to start turning backward. And I realized that while my execution may not be as good as Brian's and it might not be as quick as Brian's, I at least have the correct mechanics and the correct methodology. So comparing yourself to Brian in this case is a great idea. I have never seen anyone else do the move like him. I think he's the one that made it up. So it would make sense to compare yourself to Brian to understand if you got the move, at least the correct method down. Some final tips. This move can be a tough move. It took me about a month to get it, and it's something that you really got to practice. The main tip is to watch Brian Viloria do the move over and over again and slow it down in super slow motion, even slower than what you're seeing right here, so that you can understand exactly what he's doing. When this clip of Brian was taken, he was probably anywhere between 108 and 112 pounds. So he's a smaller guy. As a result, he's able to move much more quickly, and he's fast and has a ton of agility. So he's able to do a move like this very quickly. So when you see him do a move like this so quickly, you're not going to be able, or at least I wasn't able to see exactly what he was doing. So I had to go back in, slow the move down, and it's similar to watching a Buddy Lee clip. Buddy Lee moves so quickly that if you don't slow the video down, then it's going to be impossible to see exactly what he's doing. And Brian is in the same category in this case. If you slow it down and see exactly what he's doing, that's the best way to understand what's happening with the move. And then after that, you go out, you try it yourself, take some videos of yourself. I would have never known that I was doing the 360 the wrong way, or at least I wasn't doing it the way that Brian does it, if I didn't take a video of myself and then compare it to Brian. As far as getting down into the move, I'd say you want to use a PVC rope. It's going to be difficult to do this move with a cable rope because a cable rope is not as flexible and it's not as forgiving. And if you try it, you might be able to get it, but if you mess up with that move, it might hurt. Those cables are not as forgiving. Try it with a PVC, either a 4mm or a 5mm cord is probably best. I believe Brian is using a 5mm cord short handle rope in this video, and I'm using the Elite SRS Pro Freestyle / Fit Plus in this video. So you definitely want to use a 5mm PVC cords. Also, don't be afraid to jump a good bit. When you're doing a turn like that, the most common mistake is to get the rope caught under your feet. So bend your knees if you need to, jump a little bit more if you need to, but as long as you can clear the rope, then that's what you want to do. You want to do whatever you can to clear the rope, but also keep from injuring yourself as well. So don't bend your knees too much, bend your knees just enough to clear the rope. And then let the rope naturally go around you. Extend your arms, but the rope should be following your body. Don't think too much about where the rope is. Just turn your body, let the rope naturally follow you around because the rope will be in your hands. And then what you'll find is after you're done rotating, that the rope is in the side swing position. So you just need to catch the rope in the side swing position and then jump right through. All right, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in to this tutorial. I thank you very much for your continued support. Please subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and share the channel with your family and your friends if you think they'd get value from jump rope videos that can help them with their jump rope skills, their fitness, and their overall well-being. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, jump rope to freedom. Peace. Thank you so much for your support. Take care.